Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk about technology, and today one of my guests, she has been seen on YouTube. You might have seen some of her videos talking about how to prep for technical interviews. You might have seen her on Instagram. She has thousands. I'm not going to say a few. She has thousands of followers. And then not only that, you might have either worked with her or she's been on your campus hosting events around technologies. She's a big inspiration, a huge supporter of D&I. And I'm just so glad and lucky to have our guest, the great Maya Bello. All right, everybody give it up. All right. I want to throw some cheers in there.
I love that intro. Thank you. I was like, who's that?
No, that's you, girl. That is you. So you don't understand. When I first started the podcast, there were two people I know I wanted to connect with first. And you were one of those people that I just wanted to connect with, only because I think what you're doing is transformative to people. I think the things that you're working on are incredible. And so before we get into your journey and all the questions I have to let the visitors, the people who are listening to the podcast and who are just watching us right now talk, because we're just going to be real, everybody. We're just going to be very casual, very real. That's how we roll. But I want to make sure I state that we do not fact check before we do anything. All my questions are going to be off the cuff, that I've spoken a little bit to give insight to Maya. I am not the male Oprah of podcasting. Okay. I'm not even the Gail of podcasting. All right. I am, my voice is a little bit has lozenges, so that's why I'm not Gail. But we are just having a casual conversation. All views, all ideas, they're off the cuff. We're just having a casual conversation. If you have concerns about what we said or what we do, hit us up in the comments. If they're hateful, we will delete them. We don't care. But we're just here to give insight to journey to those who might be going into college, those who are in school, traditional or non-traditional, and who are possibly rethinking their career path. And maybe Maya, you might connect with Maya. She might give you some insight. So I want to throw that little disclaimer out there. There is no side effects. You will not get diarrhea, constipation, or anything of that sort by listening to this conversation. All right. So with that said, Maya, thank you for taking this time to hook up with me. And I got so many questions, but I do have some rapid fire questions I like to ask people before we go ahead and start into like your journey. So hopefully you're ready to, and I've taken out some of the questions here because one, I want to use a lot of our time just talk about your journey. All right. So they're supposed to be rapid, but I might interject if I find it something to be too weird, interesting, or I got to just like, what? So
I haven't looked at them, to be honest. So we're going to.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Even better. All right. So here's a question. If you were attacked by 30 zombie kids, no.
I was thinking. I was like,
how many of those kids you think you can take out before getting eaten? No. So here's the question. Are you a texter or you're a talker? Like, which do you prefer? If someone's hitting you up, do you like to just get on the phone or do you like somebody, you have to text them?
I'm actually a texter, talking. I know some people are surprised by that, but it's just quicker. I feel like I'm better at like articulating my thoughts. And yeah, I would rather just text.
Well, you know what? You do code. So that kind of makes sense. That makes sense, right? The last song you listened to.
Oh, I was in the car earlier and it was a song I really liked. It was by Mozzie. I cannot remember the song, but he's like a rapper. And I was just like, it was like one of those inspirational rap songs.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're just feeling it, right? Yeah. Feeling it. Okay. All right. You have to hit me up on who that is. Maybe you find it. Let me know. I'm always asking people those questions. And that way I find new artists, new content to listen to. Unpopular opinion.
Any unpopular opinion?
Yeah. Any unpopular outside of politics, any unpopular. Yeah. We don't want to go there. So do you have an unpopular opinion about something, whether it's food, music, an artist, an actor, a movie, a food?
Let's do food. I'm trying to think of an unpopular opinion with food. Oh, unpopular opinion. You actually pour in the milk before you pour in the cereal.
pour in the so you pour. Wait a second. Come on now.
You put the milk first, and then you put the cereal. I've been doing
So
that
we're about to
all
wrap
my
up
life.
this podcast right now. I want to thank you, Maya, for no.
You put the milk in before you put the cereal.
I am proud. I do. People be like, you're a psychopath, all this.
No. I mean, it is an unpopular opinion. I mean, you are seeing therapy. You have a therapist, right?
I've seen like so many people have like sent me memes of like people who do this, don't talk to them and all that. So I'm just like, wow.
I've actually seen a bowl that's split where it has the milk on one side and there's a cereal on one side. And so people will like put the cereal in. That way the cereal on the bottom doesn't get, soggy unless you're eating Captain Crunch, which is basically like a mouth destroyer. So that stuff does never ever like get soggy. Okay, then. Well, that's pretty unpopular. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to move past that one. Best concert you've been to?
Ooh, best concert that I've been to.
This is always a good one because you just never know what an artist did or what made it so memorable. So what was the best concert you've been to?
Yeah, no. So when you said that second part, something that stood out was I went to like a Logic concert, and at the beginning, he was like, sometimes people go to concerts and they're just trying to act cool and just bob their head and do all that stuff. But he was like, I want everyone to be themselves, be weird. Like, you paid money for this. If you want to dance, dance. And yeah, I just love that he started off with that.
And that just made everybody just feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. My best concert I ever went to, I got free tickets to go see Prince, sat front row. So, that was just in general, like, what? We got free tickets and we didn't know where they were sitting at, and we sat front row. And so we were sitting so close, Maya. The drummer gave us his sticks and handed them to me.
Wow.
And I was able to just pick them up and grab. That's how close I was. And let me tell you, if you've never been to a Prince concert, I mean, it's unfortunately past and you never see. If you've never been to a concert, your expectations are raised so high that now when you go to any other concert, you'd be like, I mean, it was good. I mean,
wow, I bet, yeah.
So when you go to a good concert, like I said, now you go to Logic, he tells you to go ahead and dance and you feel comfortable and you're celebrating. It's kind of hard when you go to the next place and you feel like you have to sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worst concert.
Probably one I went to at my college, I think maybe my worst one was my first one. It was at my college. It was some band. I can't even tell you their name. Like, I don't even remember.
Hey, it's not worth it. Mine was Kanye West about 3 or 4 years ago when he just went on his whole political rant.
Oh,
and I was furious. He still owes me money because I'm so mad at that. I was like, I got the tickets. We just went, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So yeah. So let's kind of move a little bit further because I want to get into like this story of your journey. So as we move on there, so what age do you want to retire?
Oh, wow. That's a good question that I have not thought of, actually. I would say right now I'm like good that I haven't even like really thought about the age
about that.
Retire. Yeah. I'm not sure. Like, I like what I'm doing right now.
Okay, then cool. I honestly don't see you, me personally, I do not see you in a corporate environment in the next 10 years. I think you'll be running your own show. And I think that you'll either be, a tech personality for some organization leading something, or you are going to basically have your own group of people doing what you're really, really passionate about, driving forward when you find that's what I see. I'm just giving you the real. So, and you guys will all, those who are listening, you will actually hear her journey and hear where she's come from and what she's doing, and you'll understand. So, do you remember what was your first job? Your actual first job with a paycheck, like payroll check, where they took all your money out of taxes? Like, what was your first check? Not your working at home, doing the dishes for somebody. What was your first paycheck?
Yeah, other than trying to get some money from my mom by doing chores, it was actually working at the movie theaters. I worked like popcorn, and yeah, I was like, would you like butter on that? Would you like to upgrade for an extra 50 cents? Like that was me.
And did you like slide the like, no, it's my cousin. I gotta hook them up. I gotta hook them up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I was hooking everyone up. I did not care. Like I see a cute kid. Hey, take some soda. Like
Take some soda. Don't pay $25 for this bucket of popcorn. I got you.
yeah.
And what was your pay? Do you remember?
Oh, my pay back then, maybe like $7 per hour.
You was living large. $7. $7 times 40 hours a week. What does that work out to? $280 a week pre-tax. You was able to take you couldn't get probably a full tank of gas for a month, but these days.
I remember it was actually a big deal when everyone in the movies, we got our pay upgraded to $750. We were celebrating.
I'm serious. Well, you know what? It's like $100 to take a family to the theaters, like a family of four, like $100 now.
Yeah.
So two, like walking away with like, ooh, we made $290 this week.
Yeah.
High rollers. So, other question is, what level of education do you have, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's of science in computer science.
Okay, then. All right. And one other question, if you don't mind sharing, do you still carry school loans?
I don't. Yes. Yeah. I was super happy to pay that off. We're going to talk more about software engineering, but that's where the money's at. And yeah, super blessed to have paid that off.
Oh, man, that's so good. I told my daughter, who's in college. I know I don't look like I have a daughter. But I do have a daughter who is in college. Thank God, black doesn't crack.
Hey.
And I tell my daughter also, I'm gonna find a university where you want to go and then go search for your passion, but don't put yourself in debt trying to follow your passion, your dream. You can get there without being in debt for the next 30 years, right? So I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. For those who have not paid off loans, keep trucking, keep getting through that. But for those who got through without having to, still hold on to college loans 5-10 years after, that's a big deal, the big accomplishment. At least for those who didn't, come out with a silver spoon family, who were high rollers, who were just like, what, you want to go to Brown? Here's a check, so anyways. So let's kind of get into this journey of yours, because I am interested. I watch only a little bit of your videos, and I didn't want to ask you too many questions prior to this meeting because I really wanted to find out about you off the cuff. I wanted to find out from you. I didn't want no premeditated questions that I knew that I was going to drive in because I read about it. I just like to be genuinely excited when I hear somebody's story. So I want to find out, what city are you originally from?
Okay, yeah. So I was born in Oakland. That's the city I'm from. But like my family were originally from like Nigeria and Ghana.
Okay, then. So you were forced to go to college, and I wouldn't be surprised they were not mad that you can get not a master's. Like they were not mad that you didn't get a master's.
No, it's crazy. I thought I was actually going to be like a lawyer my whole life. Like that's kind of like the career they told me about and push. Like either a doctor, an engineer, not even engineer, actually. It was either like just like a doctor, lawyer. That's what they kind of talked about.
What's crazy that you say that, because I was just watching this skit, and only those who have friends or family who are who are Nigerian. There's a skit that they did on SNL just recently. I'm not sure if you've seen it, where there was a family who just said like, oh, so someone who's like, oh, I'm gonna be a writer, and they're like, what? A writer? It was like, is that going to pay for your life? Like, what are you going to do with that degree? It was like, no, you better be a doctor or a lawyer. You better get a master's. Like they were like, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much standard that I've had from some of my friends who parents are Nigerian. Like they really, push very high education. And in general, most people push high education. But that was one of the things that I was really shocked by, that there's really a very heavy push from some to be doctors or to be lawyers. And for the most part, they're successful at it. I'm like, dang, I failed.
No. You know what's crazy too? I feel like, like Asian parents are kind of known to be strict, but like African parents, yo, like
Hey,
they are very, 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 very strict as well.
Yeah, I think that's just a big misconception.
Yeah.
It's just really heavy in one particular group. Like, no, there's a lot of people who friends and family who I've known to gone on to be doctors or lawyers or have gone to get their PhDs, and it's really just a drive of the parents.
Yeah.
So you were saying that when you were growing up, you were thinking you were going to be a lawyer or you were going to be either a doctor. Whether the influence was just you or whether the influence was just your peers or your family. So at high school, all right, that's a really transformative time, right? The 4 years. You're looking at everybody, what they're doing. You're starting to see other things outside of doctor and lawyer because you're now realizing and going to events and listening to teachers, and you might be going to different, discussions. So my question is when did you realize that you were not in high school, that maybe I'm not going to be a doctor. Maybe I'm not going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, no, even throughout all of kind of college, like it was like Judge Bello, that's kind of how
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, you were for real.
Yeah, really.
I thought this was just like kindergarten, like, no, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. No, in college, you were going to be. So what the heck happened? That's a big take a left.
Yeah, for me, it was like, and you kind of know this from like working with me. I'm just such like a people person,
Yes.
know? So for me, when it was figuring out like what I wanted to do with my career, it was like, you know what? English class was my favorite, when I had my friends and the teacher was cool and it was just a vibe. But then also I really liked history when we were learning about like a different movement or a different time period, like I might have gotten into it.
Yeah.
So I like so many different things. So it's crazy because like the school I ended up getting the most financial aid to and all that stuff was, it was like a state school, and that's the school I ended up going to just because, like money and all that stuff was like one of the factors I took into account. And for that school, like I chose computer science, but it was random. It was,
wow.
I was looking at the list of majors. I saw computers and I was like, okay. At the time, Facebook was big. I was like, I'm into Facebook, but I had never written code, did not know what code was, none of that. And I was just like, okay, computer science. And yeah, that's a school I ended up going to. So.
Oh, wow. Now, what university did you go to?
I went to UC San Diego.
UC San Diego. Oh, man. Just like that picture behind you. Yes. San Diego. For those who are just listening on the podcast, we're doing a Zoom discussion and for this podcast, and she has like a nice image of the beach behind her. So yeah, that's not a bad place to go to school at. I mean, you are literally like an hour and a half away from Los Angeles. You're only like about 3 hours away from Las Vegas. And you're at the nicest beaches in California. I mean, Maya, I don't even know why you even came back to the Bay Area.
I'm grateful, but college was actually, how do I say this? I don't want to say traumatic experience for me, but I barely went to the beach. It was not really, man, we're getting deep already. It was actually one of like the saddest years of my life.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And was it the school, or was it just the lack of, connection of not being, I mean, if you're in the Bay Area, for those who don't know, if you lived in Oakland, the Bay Area, there's just a whole different vibe, a whole different culture. Yeah. And so was it just being separated from family, or was it just, you just felt that you didn't really have that community there on the campus?
Yeah. So the reason why, because as you know, computer science was random, but the reason why I stayed in it was because I did a program for people with no experience. And a person in the program, people were venting about how coding was hard, and no one looked like me. I was the only Black person in the program, and they were all venting. And then I started to vent too, like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. And the person was like, if you're not passionate about this, this is not for you. You should go pick something else. And to this day, I still remember that moment. So that's kind of why
What's his name?
What's her name?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
let me
so
get a pen. Let me
upsetting.
find a pen. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, so it was kind of like I'm so stubborn. Like for a while, I didn't even know why I was in computer science, but it was like so many people that didn't look like me were telling me to quit that I was just like, no, that does not feel right. And it
Yeah.
was like that was kind of what was like driving me. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I'm like I'm just gonna keep going. And then later on, I found a passion once I started taking some classes that I really liked. But
Yes.
yeah, I was not at the beach. I was in the lab crying at my laptop, just trying
Oh
to make.
no. No. So it wasn't really it did you feel that the because I want to I'm giving everybody a different taste through their journey about that particular skill set or that industry and what you had to go through because everything is not always peaches and cream, you
Yeah.
know. So do you feel that it was, and we're trying not to make this a therapist moment here. So Maya, please tell me, how did you overcome these? No, what I wanted to find out from you is and taking this on a lighter note here, you go through college, you make some struggles, but you get over this hump of struggle and the animosity you might be receiving from others and not really getting the support from some of your peers, not the professors or anything like that, but
Mm.
some of your peers,
Professors too.
professors too. And I think sometimes it's just a challenge. And I think some students, they will have those challenges, and then some will find that community that they're looking for. But let's move a little bit forward. You're in your sophomore, you're in your junior year. This is around the time where people are looking at internships and they're looking at applying to internships. And this is where it opens the door sometimes to a different view of what they're going to be working on in their future. So did you have an internship during right in your junior or sophomore or any of your years?
Yeah, so it was actually in my third year, which is actually considered late for some people to do an internship. But yeah, that's when I had like a software engineering type internship.
Okay, then. All right, then. And where was the company at?
It was at Intuit.
Okay, then. All right, was into it. I heard it's a pretty good company. Yeah, I heard that they do some really great things there, which they do. But earlier today, I said I'm not going to say the company names or whatnot.
I
But
know, and then I was
I
like,
know, but I had to ask, so we're going to go there. Maybe I might edit it out. Who knows? But anyways, so you work there. Let me ask you this. For those who are getting into technology, for those who are looking for internships, just your idea, and I'm trying to sell the company or anything of that sort, but what was your experience so somebody can walk away to see this contrast of what you'd learn in school to actually having an internship? Sometimes they're two different worlds. Sometimes until you forget everything you learned in college, this is how we do things here. Like walking away from those peers and those people who might not have had your back or even been a great community for you in your learning. What was that experience now actually being inside of a corporate environment, getting a peek into this new world that you might be entering?
yeah, no, it was so different for me. And it was actually through this, through my internship that I was like, maybe I can actually see myself in this tech space just because I thought there was a huge difference between the people at my college and the people at the company I worked at. And it was just like, company culture. That's why people bring that up. Like, it's so important to find out a company's culture just because, like, some people value other things or some people value like diversity and inclusion, like whatever. And I just went to a company that would like value me. But yeah, school, I have so many thoughts on college, but yeah, my internship in the workforce was totally different from my experience of like studying up for midterms and cramming all night. Like the
Yeah.
internship I was at, it was so bougie, it was so nice. Like they gave us housing, we got a car for the summer. You got paid. I was not getting paid $7. Like you got to times that by like 5 or something. Like,
Okay. All right then.
yeah, it
Well, no,
was.
I mean, that's really good. I think, and for those who are not, aware, if you're in technology and you're working in the Bay Area and an internship, the perks, I mean, the perks are crazy. I mean, there's some companies that if they're not giving cars, they're giving out apartments, they're giving round trip flights, they're
Yeah.
giving salaries between, an intern, okay, between 35 to sometimes $50 an hour or more, depending on what you're doing in tech. So many different perks and so many opportunities for engagement. It's incredible. It's really incredible. So after your internship, you are now getting into your first job. Now, let me ask you this: What was your first big purchase when you got that check? What was your first big purchase?
Yeah.
What was the thing that you went and splurged on?
Yeah, I bought a car. I didn't have a car before, so I was like, yo, after my internship though, I was saving up. So I used that as that down payment on my car.
Oh man, you know what? You don't mind if I tell you? I remember I used to, for those who don't know, and I tell my journey through different ways. I went from tech to becoming a recruiter. I'm very grateful for the people who got me into recruitment years ago, but I'm very stingy with my money. I am a collector of cash and investing. So I remember the first day going out to go shop with somebody who said, "You know what? Your first check, you just got to blow it and enjoy it. You're a consultant now." And it was hard. And I remember going to the mall and I just walking out with tons of bags, not being just being surprised that I just blew all this money on a purse for my wife and everything else. And so that first big purchase is liberating. Like I can do this, right? So it feels good. So congratulations. Um, so now you're in the tech space. What are some of the things as a engineer that you like? And then we can go into some of the things that you dislike about the engineering space.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like is that it's very empowering for me.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to go create an app, I want to go create whatever, like I have the ability to like do that myself. I
Yeah.
love that. And it's also very creative as well. Like, I love that. I think sometimes people don't consider coding to be creative, but for
Yeah.
me, it's like I have a whiteboard, and if I'm trying to figure out the problem or figure out like a solution to a problem, I'm like jotting down different ideas and doing things
Yeah.
like that. And every day is different, and I love that. And I just think the stability as well. It's just like a really great career.
And for those who want to know, I'm going to ask the question: Is the money good too?
The money is good, y'all. The money is good. Let me tell you.
Maybe like sign-on bonus, relocation. I need some stock. Maybe like, okay, let me go back and go talk to my man. Yes, yes, we can give that to you. We can give that to you. Yes, the money is good in tech. I started out in tech, but I made that switch over to recruitment, and the money is still very good. But would you say what are some of the things, even though the money is good, and you seem passionate about it, and you love being creative? What are just some of the things in tech that you do not like outside of quality checking code?
And I'll also say the money is good, and like I've only had jobs, well, software engineering jobs in California, so I can't speak for like the other states or like different countries and stuff like that. But some things that I don't like, I would say there could be a lot of gatekeeping in tech.
Mhm.
So that's something that threw me off when I first started, when I was in college. But it's like, sometimes they don't want to see new people or new faces in this space. And they will try to say like, oh, if you're not passionate about this, or you can't be in here for this reason or that reason. So like, that's something I don't like. And then also there's not a lot of diversity as well. So those are some things that are.
Yeah, that is one thing that I notice, and I try to encourage people. I sit on a lot of panel discussions, trying to just encourage students and encourage people who are looking to transfer into tech, just give them the real deal,
Yeah.
right? And just trying to encourage them because it can be discouraging when you walk into a place and you don't see anybody that looks like you. I sound like a rap song, looks like you, talk like you, dress like you. It just it sounds crazy, but I tell anybody, you go to a place where you know that you're going to be the only person of who you are, and then go in some another room completely opposite, and then try to bring forth new ideas.
Yeah.
It's really hard, you know. And I went on an event with somebody, and it was very different for them because they were the person who was different. And I had to tell that person, I said, hey, this is how it is every single time I come to a meeting. Like, I'm normally the only Black person in the room. Or sometimes working in HR, there's places where I'm the only male talking in that meeting.
Oh,
So
wow.
I can imagine a Black female in tech sitting in a scrum discussion, you know, or sitting with the PM talking about how things are going to go. And you look around and it's just you,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of companies who are really pushing for diversity. I support that, and creativity and different ideals. But yeah, that's one of the struggles I always have. And the great thing about people like myself and others that I know who are in the industry like yourself and who are like me, they are the most resilient people I know.
Facts.
I mean, the most resilient. The one thing I learned is that working, you know, in the D&I space, diversity and inclusion space, I find that people of color, myself and people who are other, you know, even sometimes people who have different diverse backgrounds, they're the most resilient people. We're sometimes as Black people, and I'm sorry we're going off a little bit of tangent here. Do you feel that we seem to be, when we come into an environment, that we are very, what should I say, we are so in a rush to make everybody else feel comfortable so that way we can feel comfortable in a space in that we might feel uncomfortable in, to make sure that they're feeling comfortable. And I know that has to be the same in your space. You have to let every other person know that you're comfortable working in this space, but I want to make you feel comfortable with me so that way I can be comfortable.
Wow. Yeah. You hit that home for me because I feel like I always kind of focus on that first part, you know, like, got to let people know, like, that I don't know. You explained it well, but I feel that exactly.
Yeah, we could be in a party and we might be the only Black person in the entire room, but we will make sure that we make sure everybody who's spoken to us feels comfortable with us because we want to let them know that we're comfortable. So it was just one of those things that someone told me, and I was like, wow. I
Yeah.
was just so blown away. And so that's why I say, like, hey, these are some of the most resilient people that I know. So anyways, we got off a little bit of a tangent, but I think that leads me into a new space. So I see you so much online on YouTube, and I see you on Instagram, and I see you educating people and teaching people. And now I'm hearing your story about just being like, you know, your face deep in the books and face deep in computers while you're in college, that I feel like you're turning the tables on the
Oh,
industry
yeah.
and on some people by saying, you know what, you know, I'm going to use what they tried to destroy me with to overcome. Like, so
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
how did you get into this mode of transition of just being this personality in tech and educating people? Like, what drove you to start this?
Yeah, no, I remember my first video on my YouTube channel. I was sitting in my car in the parking lot and I was just like, wow, like I did this. Like I got that degree. I'm a software engineer. And I just pulled out my phone and I was just like filming the moment, you know? Yes. Wow, like you did that. So then after that, you know, I was thinking about all those people who are like me, you know, like they're the only one in their colleges, in their boot camps, whatever. And I was like, you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So I kind of wanted to be that for people. And my journey actually changed when I met a Black professor and she took me under her wing. She was also from Oakland. And, you know, she was just like, you can do this. And she did nothing but encourage me. So I was like, you know, I'm going to do that for people as well. Like, you
Yeah.
tell me you fail a class, whatever, I don't care. You can do this. And yeah, that's what I do to this day.
That's, you know what? I've watched your videos, and I'm going to tell you, I do share your videos with a lot of
Aw.
people, and I actually will point people to your videos. They'll have a certain topic. I'm like, you know what? I got a video for you. Let me go ahead and send this over to you. I believe I was talking with, I did an HBCU tour, and I believe it was with George. No, it wasn't with George. It was either Howard or Morehouse, but it was a collective group of students, and I sent them a video link on how to prepare for your technical interview. And the comments we got back saying, this is so helpful. Thank you. This helped me out so much. Because I don't think people realize you could be one, excuse the language for the kids who are listening, one badass engineer.
Mm-hmm.
But that tech interview is a beast.
It's a whole other monster. It's, the way technical, I can go on a tangent about this. But
Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, the way the system is, it's like technical interviews is whole other thing that you need to study for. And there's so many different, like topics, data structures, algorithms that you need to have down, be able to communicate it with a person and complete it within like 45 minutes, if that's how long your interview is. Like you have to practice how you present things. You have to make sure you're like typing correctly. Like it's a whole lot and you need to prepare for it.
If you're not prepared for it and you have this one video, and I'm a recruiter and I'm not tech, right? So I'm a tech recruiter, but I don't code. But I'm watching this interview where you're breaking down how to organize, how to prepare, and how to get ready for your tech interview. And literally it was like, boom. And I pass this over to a lot of students who are struggling on how to get through an interview. Even when I call students up and I have to tell them they didn't pass, you know what the first thing I do? I send them the video to how to prepare. I'm telling you. So, and you know what the first thing I get response? This is so helpful because they weren't even going that route. Yeah. I keep telling you, we need to talk because you need to be given that as a lesson. I'm telling you, because that's just really incredible. Now, what kind of engineer are you? Do you find yourself to be a front end engineer, a mobile engineer, a back end engineer, or a full stack? And maybe you can kind of give an idea of what those different categories are when describing what kind of engineer you are.
Yeah. So for the past year, I've been doing mostly like front end engineering. So that has to do a lot with like the user interface, or people call that UI. And that's basically like what you see on the screen and all the different interactions that happen. But now I'm really excited that I'm going to be diving into the back end. I decided to take on more back end type projects. So that's dealing more with like getting information from the database or creating APIs. And that's basically what the front end uses to communicate with the back end. And I'll be doing that. That's like kind of like my next adventure that I'm so excited for. And
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. It's so funny because I believe technology continues to change. And when it changes, and when I'm talking about, it's dramatically changed, right? If I go back to probably when you were in school, and this is what, like 6 years ago, mm-hmm. What you were using as code and what you thought was like, the future. And now you're looking at different technologies and everyone says like, oh, Python, I use Python. Oh, I'm using this now because I don't want to deal with all those syntaxes. I'm trying to act like I'm really smart here.
Python is great. It doesn't have all that complicated syntax. I got you.
I'm telling you. See, I know what I'm talking about a little bit, something. But yeah, it all changes and the technology is changing. There's artificial intelligence and there's a lot of different technologies that are definitely changing. So I don't know, for somebody who's looking to get into tech, like, what advice would you give to a student, whether they're in high school or in college, who are thinking about tech? Like, what kind of advice would you give to somebody? Like, what are the Maya jewels you would drop on somebody?
Yeah. Oh, so many. I would say, first of all, like, people call it a coding journey for a reason. So for me, why coding was very difficult for me was I didn't have the right mindset. And a growth mindset is so important when it comes to coding. So that's basically believing that there's kind of like beauty in hard work. And it's like through hard work, you can accomplish things, and understanding the importance of progress over perfection. Like developing that mindset was a huge game changer, because like your code will probably not work on the first try or the second try or the third try. So you have to have that grit, to keep on trying, come up with new algorithms and just kind of iterate on your code. And a growth mindset is so key. And then I'll also say there's so many different things you can do in tech. Like you already listed so many. And I'll just say like, okay, maybe software engineering is not for you, but maybe being like a UX designer, or, you know, like a recruiter, like what you're doing, or like learned about like a developer advocate, like that's a whole other role that some people
Yeah.
like. But yeah, there's so many different things in tech that you can definitely find something for you.
I know. I think a lot of people, and I'm going to be meeting with somebody in a few weeks who's a product manager who went from tech to being a product manager. Like, there's just so many different avenues. I mean, sometimes you might have all the tech, but companies are looking for somebody who can just explain a strategy to their customers, or there's a person who can basically be a company champion of that specific group in technology, and they go out. Or you might not even be a coder, but you understand the technology, and you can go out and be a tech salesman for an organization.
Yeah.
There's so
Many.
many different avenues in tech, and it's just incredible that you got into the space that you're in. So going from Judge Maya, which I would have loved to be in front of you for all the right reasons. This company, I'm suing them for $3 million. They'd be like, judgment. Thank you, Maya. Not
I
on the
love
other
that.
end talking about, not on the other end talking about like, but see what had happened, my judge. To tech is incredible. Now, I just got some random questions that I really didn't plan. So, being in tech, and this is one thing that I found about being in tech with having family who's not in tech.
Mm-hmm.
How many times as a person who codes people, how many times do you get asked to come help fix somebody's computer and be a tech IT? My screen isn't working right, baby. How do I get my screen it's black? Grandma, is it a plug-in? Oh. So are you the IT support person, the developer? I got an idea. Can you build me an app, Maya?
Oh my goodness. I was looking for like our Zoom link or whatever, and I got an email from someone that was like, just watch your video, please. Can you make an app for me? And I'm just like, I get that maybe once a week,
Once a
honestly,
week?
someone asking to make an app for them. But I think it's so crazy. Like my mom still doesn't really understand what I do to this
Well,
day.
tell me, how do you? So, not a judge? No doctor, no doctor.
Like, I think my mom really just thinks I just sit in front of my computer and just like goof off. Like, and my sister thinks I'm just useless. She'd be like, so you can't fix my computer?
What
So
was their reaction when you decided that you're not going to be going to medical? You're not going to go into being a doctor? Because honestly, there's a big misconception about blacks in tech. I mean, about I'm going to be in coding or developer. So when you said, "Hey, I'm going to focus my major on tech," what was the support like?
yeah, so something that's good. Like sometimes I would be like, you know, on the phone crying, like I can't do this and all that stuff. And they would just always be encouraging, like just like, you know, keep going, all of that. But I would say it was pretty, you know what I did? I think I lied to them. I think I said I was gonna do this because I was like, were they really okay with that? I told them I was gonna do computer science and then go to law school. I think that's what I said.
Oh,
Yeah.
you lied to them. For those who are listening to this, please do not try to find her parents and forward them this message. We want to try to hide this message from her parents.
I totally forgot. Yeah, yeah.
But when they saw that first check,
Yeah, then they
then it
were
was just like,
okay.
you know what, Maya, you all right, you all right.
Yeah.
No. So the fact is that you said that you were focusing on front end initially in your career, and now you're jumping onto a lot of different things.
Yeah.
If you had, look, she's like, here's the question. What is I'm about to say right now? What is this brother about to drop on me? So if you had to compare your creativity
Okay.
or abilities to either a rapper, singer, or actor,
Oh.
who would you? What would your style be?
Oh, wow. Now that is probably one of the best questions I've like ever gotten.
Oh yeah, see,
Wow.
You see that? So make sure you tune in to Charles's podcast, The Intern Guy, so hear the best questions that Maya has ever been asked.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a couple of people that popped into my head.
Okay.
So,
You can give it to you. There might be a collab, together. There might be two artists who did a collab song together or something, but you never know.
Yeah. So I'm a person that I like to document everything.
Okay.
It might be we have a team meeting and I'm like writing things down or like what I'm working on or all that stuff. It just helps so much. And then when it comes to performance review, I have documentation of everything I've done.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole other story.
That's the judge lawyer in you.
But I think because I know Beyonce is known to be very meticulous and careful in that way and look at every single detail. And when it comes to my documentation, I have notebooks. I have so many.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll also say when it comes to the creative part, making coding tutorials and all that, I always loved Issa Rae.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
So
what? I got to snap on that one. Yes. Yes.
That was such a great question. I've never ever thought about that. But yeah, I would say those two is kind of my vibe.
You know what? Talking to you and seeing some of the work and the groups you worked with and hearing the feedback from people who partner with you, that's pretty much dead on. I could see that. I mean, as soon as you said Beyonce, I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. But as soon as you dropped the Issa Rae on me, I was like, all right. So Issa, if you ever hear this or anybody who knows Issa who passes it on, please connect with Maya Bello. We all just gonna pray on that one. So
yes.
No, this is very helpful for you sharing all this stuff because there is some young woman, there is some young, individual, or there's somebody in their career who's looking to make a change. And there might be some young Black, young woman, who's like, hey, I identify with you and Issa Rae and Beyonce.
Yes.
You can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
I think just hearing some of the things. See, first of all, we can go on for another 2 hours. To be quite honest,
we really could.
And I am going to probably set up a part 2 with me, you, and recruiter Gabby.
Yes.
I don't know how much is going to come out of that discussion. It might be too much. It might be all edited. But I definitely want to say that I think you have given me some insights, a little bit of who you are. You give some insights to people to your journey on how to become an engineer. I think by far, this will definitely impact somebody out there who's interested in tech, even if you're looking to work remote or be in the Bay Area. I think this is awesome. And I just hope that this isn't the last time we get to connect. And I just want to thank you for your time, your vulnerability, and your availability. This is by far one of the interviews I wanted to have, and I got it in my collection. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So how much money do I owe you? No, I'm just joking.
Right? Talk to my people. I don't have any people, by the way.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Maya, for being on the Internguy podcast and video. And I hope this isn't the last time we connect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And we'll see you on the other side. All right. We're going to stay online a little bit more and talk. So, yeah, this is it. It's over.
Bye, y'all.